Well, hello and welcome to Lord of the Board. My name is Sam Smith, and today we are going to be doing a overview / strategy tips for the Harkonnen faction in Dune Imperium. If you do not know what Dune Imperium is, it is a worker placement and deck building game set in the Dune universe. And I am so excited to share these two characters with you, and throughout the course of these next couple weeks, we're going to be going through each and every one of the characters available in the game. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so you have chosen the Beast. Well, let's go ahead and get right into his special ability, which is Arrakis fiefdom. So it's super simple. All you gotta do is start with 1 spice and 1 Solari at the beginning of the game. So do not forget to grab those during setup. And then going over your Signet Ring ability, you've got Brutality, which allows you to get 1 troop into the garrison, or 2 troops if you have at least 1 faction alliance. Now, starting off on my first tip, you're going to want to be focusing on the conflicts as the Beast. This is because naturally your Signet Ring ability is going to be putting units in your garrison there, so you want to capitalize on that as soon as possible and start getting more combats. You definitely want to not lose any of the combats that provide a victory point. You want to show that you are the best on the battlefield. What I like to do earlier in the game as the Beast is focus on gaining influence with the Fremen. The reason for this is that they provide a lot of water. Water is very important to get to the floors of Dune and to be able to collect that really rich spice. Now, all of the triangle spaces on Dune are also combat spaces, so this helps you in both ways as you're able to collect some spice and send your troops to the conflict. Getting to fort influence and gaining an alliance with a particular faction is more important than diversifying your influence as the Beast. The reason for this is that you can actually make full use of your Signet Ring ability and gain those 2 troops in the garrison instead of that 1 as soon as possible. Now, just something to keep in mind, you are going to want to look for cards with reveal abilities that have swords on them. That way you can add those combat points to the conflict itself when revealing. But I've got 3 cards for you that I think are really good for the Beast, so when you see them, be sure to pick them up or at least consider it. The first card I have for you is Sardaukar Legion. Now, this allows you to gain 2 troops if you're using it for its agent ability, but if you use it for its reveal ability, this gives 1 persuasion and allows you to deploy up to 3 troops from your garrison to the conflict. This is a really good way to trap your opponents into thinking that you don't really have that many troops, and then all of a sudden, you do. And then we've also got the Gunthopter. This is a great card because each opponent loses 1 garrisoned troop as its agent ability. But if you use it for its reveal ability, you get 3 combat points and you may deploy a troop from your garrison to the conflict, adding even 2 more combat points. This is a great card to trap your opponents and win those conflicts. And then lastly, we've got Worm Riders. This is great because you can gain 2 spice if used for its agent ability, but once again, its reveal ability being very powerful, which if you have 2 influence with the Fremen, you get 4 combat points, but if you have an alliance with the Fremen, you can get an additional 2 combat points. So this is a very, very good card either to gain that spice or to get those combat points out there. Now, like I said, I really like Fremen as my first early game faction, but I also like to work with the Guild as a secondary faction, and the reason for this is that as you are gaining that spice on the ground of Dune, you're going to want to make use of the Guild Heiliners. This is going to be a 6 spice agent space that you can actually send 5 units down into the conflict immediately and gain 2 water. And in addition, it's a combat space, so you can add 2 more troops if you have them from the garrison to the conflict. So this can be a really powerful play, and then you can use that water to gain more spice on a later turn. So that pretty much wraps up GLOSSU the Beast. You're going to want to be mostly focusing on conflicts, trying to collect the spice and gain the water to use to get to the floor of Dune, and you're going to want to work on getting your relationship up with the Fremen and also the Guild. And I think that this is a good beginner strategy to have a good game with the Beast. But now on to his master, the Baron VLADIMIR Harkonnen. Whereas GLOSSU the Beast is more about brute force and getting a lot of conflict points, the Baron is a little bit more sneaky and has a different play style. First of all, let's talk about his ability, the Master Stroke. This allows him to, at the start of the game, secretly choose 2 factions with these tokens here. When you deploy 4+ troops to the conflict in a single turn, you can reveal these choices and gain 1 influence with each. Then, with his Signet Ring ability, it is called Scheme and allows you to pay 1 Solari to gain an Intrigue card. The fact is, you really need Solari as Baron VLADIMIR Harkonnen. You want to make sure that you can make use of your Scheme ability whenever you get the Signet Ring. You need those Intrigue cards. So you're going to want to either go to the Emperor's Wealth spot to gain some, or you can also go to Secure Contract over in the Spice Trade section. My second tip is that I feel like the Baron's need for his 3rd agent is a little bit more important than some of the other characters out there. And so I found the fastest path to get it, and sometimes it can really work and improve your gameplay for future turns. The reason why this is so important with the Baron is that I like to have a 3rd agent to just be gaining me resources every round, whether that's Solari or spice. Now, the quickest way to achieve this is on the first round, you will want to go to Wealth with one of your agents, then to Secure Contract. Then on round number 2, you are going to Secure Contract and then the Swordmaster space, and then you will have enough Solari to grab that agent by round 2. Now, Intrigue cards are extremely important as the Baron Harkonnen. In fact, you're going to be gaining a lot of them. So one thing is to make sure that if you have a lot of them incoming, to be sure to use them as you go. You don't want to have a hand built up of Intrigue cards, as players can send their agents to the secret space in the Bene Gesserit faction to make you discard one and give it to them. So either you want to use them actively, or you want to make sure you're the one going to that secret space, that way they can't get there. Now with the Baron, I usually find myself allying with the Guild and the Emperor, but I've got a couple of cards that I really enjoy to use as the Baron Harkonnen. So first off, we've got Firm Grip. This is the Emperor card, and the agent ability is to spend 2 Solari, which you'll already be collecting hopefully, to go up an influence on any of the tracks but the Emperor's. And its reveal ability is really good, where if you have an alliance with the Emperor, you gain 4 persuasion. I also really like to build a deck that's around opulence. This is another Emperor card, which agent ability gains you 3 Solari, but its reveal ability gives you a persuasion and allows you to spend 6 Solari to gain a victory point. And this can be a very powerful strategy as the Baron Harkonnen to just collect a ton of Solari and keep scoring some extra points with opulence. And then lastly, I've got the Spacing Guild card, Spice Smugglers. This allows you to spend 2 spice to go up an influence with the guild and gain 3 Solari, which is super powerful and some good extra income. And its reveal ability should not be used as much, but if you have to, it will give you a persuasion as well as a combat point. Now, as my last tip, I just want to teach you a cool power play that you can do as the Baron Harkonnen. Now, you will likely be going up that victory point track very slow until a certain point at which you can play this power play. And it does take some setup, and it's very thematic in the world of Dune. What I really like to do is with those 2 tokens that I chose at the beginning of the game with the Master Stroke ability, I like to go up those 2 tracks by 1 influence, and then go up the guild track by 1 influence. Then I'll save up some spice, go to the Guild Heiliners, giving me a victory point because I'll be going up the influence track another time there, and I'll be able to send 5 troops straight into the conflict, which activates my Master Stroke ability, allowing me to reveal the 2 influence and make sure that I'm going up 1 on the 2 other tracks that I chose, gaining 2 more victory points. This is a huge setup, and it's a total power play, gaining 3 victory points in a turn, and likely going to be winning the conflict that turn as well. So as you can see, the Baron Vladimir Harkonnen is a lot less upfront as the Beast is. In fact, he has a very slow and much more methodical playstyle where you are going to be planning and plucking the strings just like in the book. And also, making use of tons of intrigue cards makes you completely versatile and means that your opponent never knows what is going to come next. I hope you enjoyed this overview and these strategy tips for both the Harkonnen characters in Dune Imperium. Be looking forward for more videos to come from me covering all of the other houses in this game. If you have not subscribed just yet, please go ahead and do so before you go, as well as drop a like. And if you have a question about the game, go ahead and comment down below, or you can come ask me a question on Twitter or Instagram, or even catch me live streaming on Twitch. So with that is it for the Harkonnens. Let's go ahead and drop the beat.